Hi, sorry it's been so long since I made a video. I've been working in other media. So in this video, I just want to give you an update on what I've been doing. I want to answer some frequently asked questions, and I want to invite you to the next Strand Night, which happens on Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/GameLargo. And in this video, I'll talk about what we're going to do. So during the week, here's what I want us to test. If you want to play some Death Stranding, this is what I think would be useful for us to work on. Let's fight some BTs. So one of the things that we discovered early on is that if you throw EX grenades at catchers, their skin turns white, or really the chiralium shader effect kind of disappears in the spot where the EX grenade hit. And we've speculated for some time that there's more to this system than meets the eye, and that this is sort of the pathway to a kind of non-lethal kill option for BTs. So this is what I want us to test, to try to kill a BT in a non-lethal way using EX grenades. So here's what we know so far. First is there may be some threshold of EX grenade damage that will turn a catcher completely white. It might be that you have to hit him with powerful enough EX grenades, or hit him with EX grenades enough time, hit him all over their skin, or just hit him in the exact right spot. But multiple people have seen this happen, so EX grenades can also prevent a catcher from descending underneath the tar. One of the difficulties of trying to turn a catcher completely white is if they go under the tar, there's a period of time where you can't hit them, and if that goes too long, all the chiralium comes back. So if you hit them with an EX grenade as they're trying to descend into the tar, you can prevent them from doing so. We've also forced a struggle animation using EX grenades, and it appears to be dependent on doing the maximum amount of EX base damage over the shortest time span possible. We've also forced this animation with just straight up hematics. I personally have had the most luck with cats. I have seen the struggle animation happen with dolphins. Haven't gotten it to happen with the kraken. There are also lore reasons why I believe this is the case, and I have some further speculation on this that's backed up by that lore, but I'll share more about that on the Discord. So here's the test. Head to the central region and try to non-lethal a catcher using EX grenades. I've also wondered if maybe the strand could kind of factor into it, like maybe when you get them to do the struggle animation, you can walk up with your strand and kind of tie them up, rope them up. We can also coordinate in the Discord server to try to share our EX grenades with one another through the share lockers so that we have enough nades to work with. If you need grenades, we have ways of grinding those out too. And here's a side goal. Try to load up on chiral crystals for another test that I'd like to do. If your character has 99,999 chiral crystals, let me know. There's something I'd like you to test. So what have I been up to? First, the biggest thing that I've worked on is I wrote up all of my DS2 predictions that are based on the new Cupid that we saw show up on Hideo Kojima's Twitter account. I did a post about it on Reddit. I'll link that down below. But the headline is that the big difference between the old Cupid and this new Cupid is that the capabilities of both the Cupid and the terminal have been fused into one device into this new Cupid. And the significance of that, I believe, is the following. First, large-scale construction using the floating castle that we see in the DS2 trailer. I believe that that little eyepiece right in the center there is a construction device that we will use to float around the game map and maintain and create and destroy large-scale constructions. So it won't just be roads, it'll be whole giant networks of infrastructure. Next, I think there will be mechs and a heavy emphasis on superconductors. What's the difference between the buddy bot and the mechs in the DS2 trailer? The answer is superconductors. I believe the game will be much more combat focused, and these mechs are what we're going to be fighting. And not only that, I think the scale is going to vary dramatically. I think there will be bots like what you see with Higgs there, but I also think there will be kaiju-sized battles. I think Pacific Rim is probably a very good film to go review. Also, superpowers. Many of the equations hint at being able to control wave functions. The Schrödinger equation is very prominently represented on the new Cupid. And if this might allow is at least some control over the four fundamental forces in nature: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces. And if you had some control over this, if our equipment in Death Stranding 2 gives us some control over this, then essentially we're talking superpowers. We're talking flight, we're talking be able to turn people into stone, we're talking Infinity Gauntlet style powers of destruction. And lastly, I believe that on some level, I don't know exactly how the implementation will work, but on some level, Death Stranding 2 will either be or have rhythm game elements. It'll either be a rhythm game or it'll have rhythm game elements, one of the two. The implementation I would like the most is if Higgs is a playable character, or he's a boss in the game, or both, and that he uses that guitar in a kind of Pied Piper metaphor to control the mechs. That's what I hope. That's what I believe. I also feel like I have a lot of the DS lore figured out, or at least kind of the surface references that are obvious, but I'll save that for a later video in the analysis series. Speaking of which, I've been working ahead on my analysis series over the past little while. I've been lining up a bunch of stuff, but more importantly, I've been working on templates and systems to make the production of videos much faster and make the videos themselves much better. Before doing any of that, the series would have largely just been my big fat face jabbering away in front of a camera. But now that I've been working on templates so intensely, I can provide a much clearer exegesis of the narrative. I can use examples better. I can show definitions better. It's made things a lot easier. It's making things look a lot better. And I'm really happy with where my production environment is going now. And now, frequently asked questions. Question 1. Can you just simply state what your theories are instead of having so many videos? Yes, I have. Yes, I can do that, and I have done that. I have never been coy about what my theories are. The sun in Death Stranding is a black hole. The referenced films and in-game interview materials and other items comprise a meta-diegesis that reveal an embedded narrative. That narrative is an adaptation of the myth of Osiris. That adaptation, moreover, explains and synthesizes the rest of the complex diegesis into explaining the complexities you see in the game world. And it also helps to reveal the true nature of the chiral network. It helps you understand the characters a hell of a lot better, and it helps reveal the cooperative game mechanics. And it is these game mechanics that also comprise the larger final puzzle, and which requires either global cooperation or a team of 30 dedicated people that are willing to play together. I have never been coy about any of this. I have shouted it from the fucking rafters for 4 years. My theories about the black hole stretch all the way back to 2017, 2018, when I was annoying my colleagues about there being a black hole in Death Stranding. The only difference now is that I have such a preposterous amount of evidence that I decided to launch another campaign to try to get this done. Everything that I just described to you is true and accurate. You just can't see it unless you do all of that work, unless you go and read all of these interviews, unless you watch the films, or if you connect with other people who have on, say, a Discord server where theorycraft is not suppressed. Can you share how to solve the final puzzle? Yes, and I have repeatedly in the Discord, in my videos. You have to play quite committedly and intentionally with at least 30 people. That is the solution. You have to do a single pass through the entire map where you pick up every piece of cargo, you deliver every order, you empty out all the mule camps, and whatever you don't deliver, your strand contracts or other players must. Last question. Wouldn't data miners have found this? No, not unless those data miners were also deeply invested in the narrative. You only find this by analyzing the narrative, which makes total sense, right? It's Hideo Kojima. Also, I've spoken with a number of data miners who still themselves have questions, who themselves don't fully understand the architecture in Death Stranding. We also have a moderator on the subreddit now. Meet Vampire Punks. Vampire Punks has been given the role of Bridges R&D, and this grants them the ability to time folks out, manage messages and threads and stuff. They have experience as a moderator and a passion for lore, fair dealing, and collaborative communities. Super stoked they're on board. And that's it. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. If you want to discuss my theory with me, you just hop into the Discord and start asking me. All right, thanks. Bye.
The three-stage process. Join Bridges 3 and make your connections. Tie your knots. A new community where your contributions will matter and where I will tell your story. Bridges 3 wants you.